what didn't happen in Australia? It's well, I started off in Melbourne.
Yeah.
That's where she was from, or she was from a place called Ballarat, and then we subsequently moved straight into Melbourne because Ballarat is not much happening there.
Oh, it's a small place too.
Very small place.
You ever been to Australia before?
No, that was the first time. And and lived in Melbourne for a while. Things never worked out with her, so started backpacking at that point, traveling all around. It's like I wasn't very good at backpacking at that point in time.
Good in backpacking.
Like in the normal sense, like being able to like live very cheaply. Like I was like what would you call it? Like a luxurious like backpacker.
High maintenance.
Yeah, very high maintenance backpacker. Like so, I was always broke, and but I had some interesting experiences. Learned how to at that time in Australia. They were in need of rural workers, so people that would work on farms picking fruit, for example, and stuff like that. So I guess it was just a shortage of labour workers. So what they done is, if you done 3 months of work, then you could extend your visa for an extra year as a backpacker.
Really?
So I done that, and I get really lucky. I met this Israeli guy who was on a quest to make these branded oranges. So he taught me how to splice these orange trees. So it was like an orange plantation, and basically I would go up and cut half of a tree off, and then of the orange tree, and then grow a different variety of orange off it because he wanted to perfect the orange. Really eccentric guy, but I just got to drive around on a quad bike, like a 4-wheeler, and just it was the best, man.
Yeah, that's
getting
perfect.
paid $20 an hour, spending it all instantly.
Yeah, of course, but that's perfect for backpackers.
Oh, that was good, man.
Like
Everybody else is like labouring hard in the heat. I was just driving around and eating oranges and cutting trees. There was some downsides. Imagine like orange plantation, just trees as far as the eyes can see.
Yeah.
And we would basically cut the trees off. You'd have to incubate the seedling that would grow out of that. So you have to put it in a brown paper bag. Yeah. And we're in Australia, man, and spiders like heat.
I know.
So that job, you had to go up and take the brown paper bag off, and every second tree there'd be a huntsman spider in it. So
I've seen photos.
Man, they're like as big as a hand, you know. So you're like doing that and then just running away. It was intense. That was the only downside to that job, you know.
I'm gonna say what every guy says. You know, I'm not afraid of spiders.
Yeah, okay. Wait till you see one of those bad boys, man. I challenge anyone to stand in the face of one of them.
No, great. I would be a little bitch.
Oh man, I seen one of these videos the other day when you're talking about doing these just commentary video on weird videos.
Yeah,
there's so much content out now. It's like you could never. It's never ending. But there was a guy in Australia, and he was taking like an aerosol can. I'm not sure what was in it, but he was just spraying under a door handle in the car, and then just spraying, and then he's just like, wait for it, and then a spider, the size of my hand, creeps, dude.
Under the handle
I don't
of the car.
want to live in a country where I need to like spray the handle of my car when I'm coming out in the morning. One, I'm not going to remember to do it, so I'm getting bitten every day of the week, you know?
Yeah, that's kind of my thing too, because, you know, I don't usually have a problem with this, but I live in Norway. I'm from Norway.
Those are reasonable spiders.
Yeah, they're reasonable. We have only reasonable spiders. And all the other bugs too, there's like not a big issue with those snakes or anything.
Well, it's like ticks. Ticks are the worst thing that you can work.
Ticks, that bothers me. That's really annoying, and I can't believe I never had a tick before. Never? No, and I picked like 15 of them from my dogs and cats every day. And go with them in the forest, everything. But I never had one. My girlfriend never had one, and my kid never had one. And that's crazy. We don't use any like spray or something.
Yeah. My niece got one a couple of years ago, pretty bad, and she ended up in hospital as well.
Wow.
You know,
infection or some.
She had a reaction to it. So it was a tick, and they never noticed the tick. And then she ended up in hospital because of it as well. Jesus. Yeah, man, scary stuff, and it's so small like that as well. Well, that's the weird thing about the spiders in Australia. The big ones you don't really need to worry about. Like those big ones, they bite you. Nothing's going to happen. It's going to throb. It's going to be sore for hours, you know. But it's the small ones you need to worry about. All the, what do you call them? The redback spiders.
Oh, really?
They're teeny tiny, man, and those are the ones that will kill you, you know?
That's so crazy, you know, because instinctively you see the big one.
Wow.
But you can almost control them. You know where they are. You see them.
Until you go to sleep.
Yeah, okay, that's true. God damn it. Shit, how do you live like that? I would be a mess.
It's not. I mean, it's not so commonplace. Like the first one I seen. My girlfriend at the time, she just screamed and ran out of the toilet and had to go in and do the manly thing.
Yeah.
And I walked in and it was huge, man. And I was like, how do you even catch? I don't even have, normally like over here in Scotland where I was coming from at the time, you grab like a mug or whatever and you got him. And what are you going to do with that? You need like a frying pan or something to catch it.
With a broomstick or something. You just have to fend it off.
I'm not ashamed to say, man, that spider did not make it out alive. I'm sorry, any vegans listening, but it was me or him. He had to go.
I understand.
He had to go.
You have to fend for yourself, man. You have to protect your girlfriend.
Exactly.
Be the man. Oh no. Oh my god. Yeah, I've been thinking about that. I've never been to Australia, but just like flipping your shoes every time you need to put them on the toilet ring, stuff like that. You can you have to check everything.
Dude, constantly.
Yeah. Or you don't have to, but you can risk it.
In the cities, it's not that bad. But you're still going to get it every now and again. But as soon as you go out to the middle of nowhere, which is like the majority of Australia is like the middle of nowhere, then that's you just need to coexist with them, I guess.
Yeah, I guess you do. There are places there's even worse. Like you got predators, lions, right? Outside your doorstep.
For sure.
You have to carry water around.
I'm not going to go and live there either.
No. I bet it's nice there, but people get used to stuff like that. I guess they don't think about it.
You grow up with it. You grow up with it, so it's like it's not going to be.
You think
anything that phases you so much?
Do Australians like think about this much? But I have to check my shoes. The spiders.
I think they secretly like it that the world sees them as hard bastards. You know,
they're
like
hard bastards.
They don't make a big deal about it. You get Steve Irwin in his day petting them and stuff like that.
Danger.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Irwin, he was perfect.
God rest his soul.
God rest his soul.
We lost a good one there.
Yeah, we did. But they are taking good care of its heritage. His kids.
His son looks like a champ, man. He looks like a nice little dude, you know?
Yeah,
like doubly him and just got that same enthusiastic kind of personality.
Seen him on the shows, TV shows and stuff like that. He shows the animals to Jimmy Fallon or something, I think. He's great.
Yeah, that's right.
He's so cool. Did you travel a lot in Australia? You backpacking, you said. It was
pretty much, man. I got a lot of ground covered. Considered I was always broke, never. So I managed. I got up to see Ayers Rock in the middle.
Cool.
Went all the way up to Darwin, all up the East Coast. Done some hitchhiking. First time I've ever done hitchhiking.
What's that?
Hitchhiking, so sticking your thumb out and asking.
Hitchhiking.
That's we've came like a good few minutes into the podcast, and that's the first misunderstanding of the Scottish accent. So you're doing well so far.
Mattis thought you were from Canada. Remember? You're Canadian.
Exactly.
I wanted to punch him.
Yeah.
I knew you wasn't from Canada at least. I wasn't sure about Scotland, but
I get Australian a lot, but I'm like, I don't know, man. Have you spoke to an Australian before?
Have you spoken to a Canadian before? It's not quite similar to Scottish.
Exactly. So anyway, hitchhiking. So I was so broke at one point. So the reason why I ended up in Sweden is I met a Swedish girl. As you do in Australia, you can't not meet a Swedish girl.
No.
She really wanted to go to Byron Bay, so we went up to Byron Bay. But I never told her my financial situation was I had no money, so everything I had went on that, and then I dropped her off at Sydney Airport. And I had $5 to my name, and I had already burnt all my bridges. Like, if I had rang home again, I think I could have squeezed some more money out of my parents, but I'd already done it. So I was like, I'm not doing it again, man. It's time to man up. Like, let's see what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So my plan was jump on a train in Sydney Central Station and see how far I can get out. I didn't even pick a reasonable direction. I was just like, okay, I guess I'll get on this one. Took it to the end and then just stood by the side of the road and started hitchhiking. And those 2 weeks I spent doing that were like the best I've ever had. And it really kind of installed in me just like a confidence and the kindness of people. Yeah. Like it was like everybody I met was just so giving and so welcoming, and like I was sitting at this sitting outside this gas station. A little bit past it because you shouldn't do it in the station. Like I started to learn where I was going to get picked up most, you know. Picked up like a hooker on the side of the road. So I was sitting there with really my shorts on, just waiting to see what would happen. But this family, they drove past and they waved, and then I seen they drove away, and then they came back and they were like, look, we only live up the road, so there's no point in us giving you a lift, but here's a bag of some water, some chips, some other stuff, a couple of sandwiches and stuff, and just wanted to give you this. Like, thank you, man. Then met this family with one of their kids was autistic, and had maybe like 6-hour journey with them, just getting to know them and what they were doing, and it was good times, man. It's really, really fun just interacting with people. This guy picked me up on his way back from the Bottle, which is like the Vin Monopole. It's just get bottle shops everywhere, they call it.
Oh, okay.
They've actually got, I don't know if you've noticed, but they've got drive-through bottle shops in Australia. So the only thing they sell is booze, and it's a drive-through. Yeah. Now, I don't know if that, to me, that seems like you're enabling drunk driving.
Maybe a little bit,
a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
And then they've got the mix, like they had mixed cans in Australia for like way before like mixed alcohol drinks. Yeah. So like Jack and Coke, you could just buy it in a can like you would a beer.
Yeah, because that's kind of a new thing.
That's a new thing over here. Yeah. I mean, maybe not so new now. It's been going for a while, but this was like a good 15, 20, almost 20 years ago, you know, so they were ahead of the curve.
I would never see that here.
Yeah, they were innovators when it comes to boozing and driving.
Yeah, you gotta do something.
So this guy drives past and he picks me up and he's just like drinking a beer and he hands me one, and then he's clearly drunk, but I'm like, okay, I guess I'm in the car with him. Let's see how this goes, you know. And just like typical old kind of Aussie guy, cool. Just like very stereotypical, but it was good times, man. That was easily the best few weeks I spent in Australia, for sure. That's
so cool. I hear people say that actually did the hitchhiking and backpacking, stuff like that, over extended periods of time though. It's one of the best periods of their lives, because you meet people you never would have met before, and it takes a person, maybe a special person, to stop for a hitchhiker, and it takes a special person to be the hitchhiker too. Exactly. I guess there's like a trust there.
Oh no, for sure, man. For sure. I would not like my son and daughter doing it. But the best, like, that's me. I'm like, that's the best time I had, and I'm like, but I still don't want my kids doing it, you know.
That's cool.